Well, we've operated next door at the Legend Assisted Living.
Right.
And in that building, we have a 15-unit memory care neighborhood called Reflections. And we've operated there for a number of years, and this has just been a great market for us. And it's for senior living, a great location as part of Moore and Norman and the connection to all of the different neighborhoods. We've been particularly honored to kind of be able to have the brand of Rivendell and one of Paul Odom's great developments, because we bought the land here from Paul and bought the original parcel from Paul as well. I've been kind of following Paul's developments for about 15 years here in Oklahoma City. You see a lot of beautiful furniture and furnishings. There's daylight here around us on 2 or 3 sides, just about everywhere you are in the building. But it's built and designed specifically for the care of people with dementia. There's easy navigable pathways throughout each neighborhood. Although there are 60 apartments here and there'll be over 60 people living here in the neighborhood, there's 3 distinct separate neighborhoods. Even inside each neighborhood, the population can be divided into smaller groups because it's more easy to accommodate individual needs of people with dementia and Alzheimer's if they're in smaller groups, more appropriate to functioning levels, more appropriate to specific interests that would engage them in something that's meaningful. And that kind of depends on everybody's background and everybody's cognitive functioning level at any point in time. So the building, as you go around, you see different smaller areas like the living room that we're in, and a smaller dining room setting than you would normally see in a big 60-unit assisted living building. And then there's specific therapeutic areas, quiet rooms. There's an activity room that can be left messy. You know, we can leave wet things out there and do crafty things and wet things. We have a therapy kitchen, which we serve all of our meals out of. We have 3 meals in the dining room, and in there is a therapy kitchen where we not only serve the meals out of, which provides the aroma and the sensory stimulation that you have in a meal, comes from the aroma and from watching the food being served and the entire dining experience. So that's made possible through the therapy kitchens. We also, not during mealtime, that kitchen doubles as a therapy space where residents are able to mix dough and participate in the cooking process. Even the simple function of prepping for a meal, setting a table, and those things that are more normalized type of home life for people. The setting just provides the spaces and the essential tools for them to participate in those things. So and at the same time, it's beautiful. The color that you actually see is cueing. There are colors around the building that you know, this room is different color than the dining room behind us, and provides specific cueing capability for customers to recognize color and kind of orient themselves to where they are in the building. Each neighborhood is colored identical to another neighborhood, so that if a resident, you know, moves to a different neighborhood to be near a friend or for whatever reason, they're not reorienting themselves to a completely new environment. It's fairly ditto from one neighborhood to the other. Each of the neighborhoods is built around an outside courtyard. So where you're looking out the window here is in a courtyard space. All the common area looks into courtyards. There's a large amount of daylight that is brought into the space, so the residents get a great sense of where they are in space and time and enjoy the out of doors. We can go out and enjoy those courtyards and be in an environment that's surrounded by the building and not surrounded by traffic and all kinds of other distractions that might be a distraction. But the emphasis is engagement, is allowing the resident to be engaged in their life, to not be experiencing a degree of anxiety that's just caused by disorientation because the building could be confusing for them. So it's built around allowing them to be able to navigate it and be engaged more easily.
This is Molly, and Molly is one of about 50 Paro robotic pets that reside in the United States. She is actually an FDA-approved biofeedback device, and she is specifically programmed to treat anxiety and depression in those who have cognitive impairment. Although I use her with my patients that have dementia, she works equally as well with people who don't have any cognitive impairment. She's very engaging. As you look at her big brown eyes, it's hard not to respond to her. Molly has a 4-hour battery. She has a central processing unit or computer inside of her, and she's covered from the tips of her whiskers to the tip of her tail with sensors, so she can actually feel you petting her. She can see you, she can hear you and recognize your voice just like a regular pet. And the more that you interact with her, the more she develops her own personality. So she's very like a real pet in many ways. If you look at the literature with traditional pet therapy, it's been around since the 70s, is considered a standard treatment. And we find in the recent research with the Paro robotic seals like Molly that we find that you actually have similar results with the Paro. So we've been very excited about those results.